So we're done with iteration 7, and we now have 8 and 9. And I'm going to do the delete first, and then do the reorder after that, as the delete is a little bit more straightforward than the reorder. So in iteration 8, delete a contact. And we'll be able to see that because we have now the ability to save to a file. So first is the problem formulation, and define the scope. And the scope is to delete a contact from the list, which also means that it is removed from the file. So testing will add a new contact. Add new contact, close the app and make sure it is saved to the file, then delete the contact and contact, save the app, and observe it is removed from the list, and when reopening the app it is still removed. So the removal persists when you go from one to the other. So solution formulation in the model. So we'll need to modify the data source to remove an object from the list. And in the view, no changes in the view, but in the controller, we'll need to make some changes. First, activate the edit button, and then activate the ability to edit and implement the delete action. And you'll see how that would work. And then the solution implementation. And I'm moving quickly because, as you will see, the template has those details in there. These were some of the items that were commented out in the template, and we'll just uncomment them and connect it to the data source. So first thing is that implement the removal from the data source. Then follow the steps in the controller, test and commit. So let's go ahead and see that working. So the first step, and we are in the contact data source, so I need to be able to remove an object. So remove a contact, so I'll say function delete contact, and we need to receive that contact or the index of that contact. So we'll say at, and then this is an index and integer. So we have to know which one that we want to delete. And then in the contact mutable array, we have the remove object. So we can remove an object itself. And we can remove an object at index. So we'll remove an object at index. And then we'll put index here. And once we remove it, we need to save. So save, so we'll say save contacts, so that the new list that's updated after the remove is saved to the file. Then we go to the address book table view controller, the main controller. In the view did load, you see there is uncomment the line to display an edit button in the navigation bar. So if in the navigation bar of the address book, I have the add new button on the right button, so the left is empty. So I need to change it so that it is on the left. So I need to uncomment this, which allow you to activate the right bar button item with the edit button item. But instead of the right, I need the left bar button item, and the edit button item this has changed, so it is not a function. So the template is not updated, it's just a variable. So just to remove the function from here, these two, remove them from here. So now when you run this, an edit button will show, but it's not yet editable. So can edit and row, this function, override this function to provide support for editing. You can provide support for editing only at some indices or at all of them. So this one will mean that yes, you can edit all the rows. So it returns true for all rows. So all of them can be editable. Then we also need to override the editing style. So commit, and this is the editing style at row. And then there are different styles. There's insert, which we're not going to implement, and then there's delete. So this one will remove the delete from the index path and gives it like this action. If the editing style is delete, then it's delete rows. So the table view has the delete row and deletes the row from the index path. And then I also need to remove the deleted item from the data source so it is not showing up. And you can do that before or after. Actually, because the delete rows will refresh the table view, so I need to remove it from the data source first. So I say data source dot delete contact, and then we'll use the index path and the row, so we can remove at that particular row, and then let the delete row do its magic after that. So let's try this. So you see we still have the data because we just pushed an update. So the update pushing does not override the directory that has the data. So we see the new contact. You see the edit button, and you can select and you get that edit. You can also swipe, you can swipe right and you see the delete button. So if I delete, so it goes away and it's not available. So I can remove the function, the app, and then open it again, and that item I deleted is no longer there. It is removed from the file. And if you run again to run an update, it should do like it did before and only show us the last item that we kept. So there's only one item. The edit is working and it is deleting and removing. So that is done. That does it for this iteration 8. And then iteration 9, reordering the contact in the list, which follows a similar situation, except that in this case, it follows the same, but I need to modify the contact person first. So I say here function reorder, meaning that you're switching. So we can say move contact. So when you move contacts, you are moving from one index to another index. So from the from index, and this will be integer, to the to index, which is another integer. To move contacts, you kind of like two people sitting in two chairs, and you want to swap the chairs, but make sure that they are seated all the time. So you need to get a third chair. You move the first one to the third chair, then you move the person, and then you do that replacing objects. So I'm gonna retrieve both contacts first. So then let from contact equal so the contact that I want to remove from, and then use my function contact at index, and this will be the from index. So that gives me the contact that I want to remove, and then the to contact, and get that from the contact at index as well, but that's the to index. Then to remove, we'll use the replace function in the array, which replaces an item at an index with another one. So we replace at the from index this, but the item that was on the from index, we're gonna replace it with the to contact, and then replace the object at the to index with the from contact. You see? So the array list had multiple items. I want to replace the one at index 2 with the one at index 5. So I created two locations, two memory locations, two variables, two additional variables, and put the two items in there because they will be replaced. If I don't do that, once I make the first replacement, I'm overriding it, so I can't access it anymore. Now that I modified my data source, I can go to the table view controller, and the same way, first I need to make sure that we can move row. So this function that says can you move a row, so we need to return it true. And then in the move row at, we need to modify this. And I forgot something, by the way. I forgot to save, because when you move the order, you need to save contacts so that it goes and the new order persists in the file. So when you move row from index path to index path, so what I need to do here is to move it in the data source. So I say data source dot move contacts, and the from will be from index path dot row, and the other one is the move row at from index path, and then the other one is called the to dot row. All right, and I don't think we need to refresh the table view. So let's see. Because I only have one, let's add a couple of new contacts first. So let's add a couple of more contacts. And then add another one. And then when you do the edit, now because we enabled can move, you see the move icons that allow you to move them like that, and then you say done, and they are moved. And if we delete and run again, you'll see the order is the new order that we created. So we can move items around, we can delete them, and it's all saved to a file. So that completes all the iterations that we intended for this project. We deleted and reordered. There are additional features that you can look for on your own. For instance, search, activating the search feature so that you can search an item in the list, and maybe using sections in the dynamic list. So that's all for this module. Thank you for your patience, and I hope you found this module and this introduction to iOS beneficial. Thank you.